Hi everybody, it's Deb from Deb's RV Services and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to give you an inspection story. It's going to be about a guy that hired me to do an inspection that was more of a consultation checklist inspection. He wanted to have education as we walk through together, and I'm going to give you all those details and tell you what I found. First and foremost, thank you so much for all of your kind comments and wonderful feedback. I am going to continue with Deb's Corner and I'm going to keep it on one channel. I think it works out great that I can just separate it and have the content on a different day. And it seems to be working out really well. So I'm very happy about that. And as you can see, I am back in my motorhome. For those of you that are new to the channel, I was staying at a resort near my mom because my stepfather passed. So I was there for a while. So that's why my background scenery was a little bit different. But now I am back in my motorhome and back to traveling. I am in extreme heat right now. It is only like 6 in the morning and I'm already getting too hot. The temperatures are supposed to be up to about 111 or 12 today. So I'm getting this video done early so that I can get it finished before the heat comes in and I have to turn on the air conditioner. Okay, let's get to the story. So this really nice guy called me and he wanted to look at a motorhome. It was an older motorhome, a 1994, and it's a Holiday Rambler. And it's in Arizona in the Phoenix area. He wanted to meet me there, and it was something that he wanted for his living arrangements. He wanted to move out of his current situation where he was staying because the rent was getting just too high, which is understandable. That's happening all over our country. So his rent was really high, and he wanted to move into an older motorhome where he could pay cash for it and not worry about a payment. And then he can move into an RV park that had a little bit of a lower rent cost per month. So he just wanted to make sure that this was a good enough motorhome that he and his mother, who he cares for, can live in it. So I met him out there, and again, it was one of those sweltering days of extreme heat. So I like to try to start my inspections as early as possible, but he was taking a shuttle and the shuttle could not arrive any earlier than about 9:30. And even then it was running late. So he wasn't there until close to 10 o'clock. So I started my inspection and I got on the roof. And when I got up there, the roof didn't look bad, but it did need some sealant. It needed to be maintenance. And the problem with this kind of maintenance is that once somebody already goes over it once, it needs to be removed and it needs to be refreshed. So the whole thing needs to be taken off and started over. So all of those areas on the roof, we're going to need to have some maintenance because there was a lot of cracking. So I let him know about that. When I went down to inspect the tires, I noticed that there was one 2019 tire. Then the rest of the tires were 2011 and 2010. So these tires were really old. They were very aged tires and there was cracking, checking all over them. I didn't feel like it was safe for my client to drive back to where he was taking the motorhome, which was a few hours away. So he, and one of the things is he was really asking me, do you think that I can make it back there? And what I had to tell him is, as a certified inspector, I cannot tell you if I think that you can make it back there. That's what I learned in my education, and I would want you to be the safest that you could be because I can't tell you or predict when a blowout's going to happen. But if you have a 14-year-old tire and it is driving down the road with checking and it hasn't been driven in a while, it could blow at any time. I have no idea. So my suggestion for him was to get new tires put on, at least for all the others. The 2019 is already at 5 years, so that one's going to need to be changed. But he was only trying to get back to his area, his location, and then he was going to stay there permanently. He wasn't going to be driving the motorhome all around. But to get him back safely, I did tell him, even if you get the cheapest tires, just get some tires so that you can make it back to your home. So as I continued to go around the exterior, it wasn't in bad shape. There were some areas where the trim pieces were coming loose. There wasn't a whole lot of other areas. Like it was age. It was wear and tear for the age, normal. It was a 1994. So that's kind of what you would expect. The things that I found that were not working Number one was the generator. We could not get the generator to start. So I was not able to test it on a load. And one of the concerns for my client was that he was going to be at a park that only had 30 amp. Now, this is a 50 amp coach. And I told him, yes, you could dog bone it down to a 30 amp, but you can only run one air conditioner. So you've got to really think about energy conservation. And the better solution would be to get to a 50 amp park. But I understood where he was coming from with this. Monetary wise, he was looking for a budget, a certain amount, and this place had what he was looking for. So maybe he can stay here for a little while and then bump it up later, because he also is going to need to get some repairs done. So I did walk him through that, and so he knew that he could only run one air conditioner at a time, but that generator also was not working. So if, say, he had a power outage, he was not able to get that generator started so that he could have power. Now, I couldn't tell him how much the repair would cost. By looking at the generator, it looked like there were a lot of new parts on it, so it had been maintained, but it could be a simple fix. I gave him some information on someone he could contact to have that generator fixed. Also, he doesn't want to use propane. So one of the things I found that was a danger was that the propane would not shut off, and there was no knob. So if you take a flathead and you turn the knob to the right and you would put it in the shut-off mode, it still was not shutting off. I was lighting the burners because I wanted to do a propane leak test for him, but I couldn't do the propane leak test because the burners would not shut off. And he said he is afraid of propane. He doesn't want to use propane. He wants to have propane cut off. So my suggestion was to get an RV tech out there and get the correct switch on there. And if he does not want to use propane, he can have the propane valves, he can have it turned off. And he can even, if he wanted to replace the refrigerator, he can have that gas capped, and he doesn't have to use it if he never wants to. He wants to get an induction burner, and he wants to use electric. Some of the other things I found was that one of the vent fans was not working correctly, so that would need to be repaired. There was a little bit of a hole like in the roofing material on the inside, but I didn't find anything else. I didn't find any sources of water damage, but something that I did find was in the bedroom. Part of the ceiling was just kind of drooping. Now, I pressed up there and I tried to look. I could see the fiberglass inside. I didn't see any wood rot or anything like that. I just some of it's like the material, that cushion material is just a little loose and just drooping, but I didn't find that there was any signs of rot or water damage. I look in every corner, and I looked with him, and I said, I don't see anything in here that shows that there was any water stains. So, but I did find under the sink, there was a little bit of a staining that was surrounding the water heater. So there must have been some kind of leak there, but there was nothing on the floor, nothing that looked like it rotted the floor or did any damage or anything. It was just around that little box cover. Some of the other things I found that the batteries were down to, without being hooked up to shore power, were down to 10.5 volts. So the batteries definitely needed to be replaced. And the hot water worked, and so we were able to test out all the fixtures there. One of the windows had like a blind that did not go up, so that's a very minor repair if he even wants to get that done. The exit windows worked, which was a big concern. The other things I found were minor things. The furniture and the whole interior looked very good. For 1994, I was really shocked at how well it looked. There are no slides, so that made a big difference. I don't know about the drivability of it because I can't test drive these motorhomes, so I did recommend that they take him for a test drive. I'm not sure if they did that or not. I did find out he purchased the motorhome, so my client is very happy. We had a 3-hour consultation, and he was able to get a list of things that needed to be repaired. Unfortunately, the dealership did not work with him. They only gave him $500 off, which isn't much, but they were not willing to fix anything. They said it's an as-is. So I gave him the name of a technician that he can contact where he can get some of these things repaired. He is just happy that he has a new home on wheels that he can take to his RV park and have a lot less of a monthly rent payment, and for he and his mom, and a good livable space. It was really a nice interior. I thought it was well taken care of. There were problems and issues, but they are all fixable. So that's the important thing. When you are getting ready to get an RV and you maybe don't have as much money and you want to get something older, you need to make sure that you are okay with spending a little bit of money to repair some of the things that we find, or find a way to have the seller or dealership negotiate that in to your purchase. Maybe they're willing to fix some of the things for you before you get it, or they give you money off. So these are all things that you have an option to get negotiated. Thank you for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed the content. Please leave a comment below and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.